Hello everyone, welcome back. In this tutorial, we are going to see the difference between services and processes in Linux. It is very important to understand what is service and what is a process. In last video, we have covered introduction to process. Let's talk about the service. A service is continuously listening for incoming request and send the response to that request. Let's say we are running a web server. The web server daemon we call as a service. Let's become a sudo su. Now, let's say we have the web service or not. We'll say systemctl status httpd. So systemctl status httpd provide the status for the service http server. As of now, it says inactive dead. The daemon httpd is not active. So here we can see that httpd, D stand for daemon. Dot service, this is a service, right? It should continuously listen. So to start, we'll write systemctl start httpd. Right now it started, but for some reason it's failed. Right. So let's quickly check out this. So let us check the error. So it says could not bind to address 8080. So let's change the address. So we have checked the log. To check the log, we have run journalctl-xe. There are the other way also. We can check the log through /var/log httpd. In here we have the error log, right? In error log would not have anything. Let's check. Let's check general message. Shift G. So if we are not getting in error log, we'll get the some logs in messages regarding our httpd server. So here it says starting, but here it got failed. The same message what we saw in journalctl, right? So this port is not able to bind it. So we'll say let's change it, etc httpd conf. So this is a configuration file of httpd. So we'll come down and we'll just make it to listen on port 80, not on 8080. We'll save it and we'll try to start the service again. So we have seen the status. Now let's start it. Now let's check status. Now it says active and running. So there was some issue we have troubleshooted, but it's not primarily focus of this tutorial. So we have started a service called as httpd, right? The service is continuous listening. Right now, can we check what are the different services are running and active, right? Because as of now we are seeing only one service is status is active and running, that is httpd. So to check for all service, we have the command. Now what we are doing here, we are understanding what is service. Service is anything listening on the system and responding to the requests, right? So any request come, it will respond, right? So let's check here. let's check all the services. So we'll say the command systemctl list hyphen units. Okay, and here we'll say hyphen hyphen type equals to service. So what it will show? It will show all the services, right? But our intent is to check the state of services, right? The state means is active or inactive, right? So for that, we need to give the command systemctl list hyphen units hyphen hyphen all hyphen hyphen state equals to active. So these are the services are active, right? We can check that. So if we run this command, and here we'll say grep httpd. So here we can see that httpd.service is loaded, active, running, and the description is the Apache HTTP server, right? So what we understand how to check some particular service. Also, we understand how to check the status of all service with the help of systemctl list hyphen unit hyphen hyphen all hyphen hyphen state equals to active. All right. Now let's check again the status of our HTTP server. Now we are, as per our definition, it says the service should continuously running and it should respond the request. Now let's demonstrate it, how the service is continuously running and how it's responding to our server request, right? So all the requests which coming on the server, it should respond, right? So for that, first we're going to check on which port is listening, because on this server there are the multiple services are listening, right? So they will primarily listen on the IP address, right? So the IP address they are running is 10.0.0.3. That is one thing. But on this IP there are multiple services. Then how we will able to reach to our particular service, that is HTTPD? Maybe you will have the SMB service, maybe you will have the LDAP service, DNS service, DSCP service, right? So far and so on, multiple services. Then what is a unique number when I can request for that particular service? Maybe I have to request to HTTPD. My request should not go to other service. Then what is a unique with HTTPD? That is a port number. In respective, all the services, whether running on the one IP or not, but on the same server, every service have their port number to listen, right? So in this case, let's say example on 10.0.0.3, there may be the 10 services running, but they will have the simple one IP, but they will have the unique port number they will be listening. So if we have port number XYZ assigned to ABC servers, then XYZ cannot be assigned to other service. Very simple, right? So it should be unique throughout the system. That service number should be unique throughout the system, and that should be assigned to only one service. The port number cannot be assigned to multiple services, right? The next question to you, how I will find out what services are using what port numbers? Because for client, I need to know where should I request, right? So I know the IP address 10.0.0.3, that's fine. But I want to reach HTTP. I don't know on what I port number your HTTP is running. Give me the port number, right? To find out the port number, there is a command called as netstat. Okay, so if netstat is not running, no worry. That means a package is not installed. So we'll say yum install net hyphen tools So if any command you are giving right, but it's saying command not found, that means that package is not installed. So it will take few minutes to install net-tool packages. So the package is installed. Let's run again. Let's start. Now its command is working, but that is not complete command. So we have to say netstart hyphen tunlpn, right? So it will give you the complete detail about the port number, right? So T means TCP, the protocol use TCP, U means UDP protocol include, L means listening, P means port number, and N means the name, right? So everything we are getting here, right? If we not give complete option, so you might be like, for example, I'm not giving N, right? So we can see the difference here. The number is not available. So in second command, we are getting names, right? SSH, but SSH number is 22. So the N is very important, right? Otherwise, we'll get this service name, but will not get the exact port number of that service. So N is for that, right? If we not give P, so we'll not get the exact port, right? So in above command, you can see the ports, right? So here you will not get that. And if you not give, it will show you all the ports which is established listening. So these all options are very vital. So let's give you the all option, that is listening with the port and the number, right? So here it shows HTTPD. HTTPD, here we can see that HTTPD. So if we highlight it like this, so we can see that it's listening, right? It's listening on port 80. What this means dot dot dot, and this dot dot means it's for all IP. So everyone can request, is not particularly limited to some particular IP, but our intent is to see on which port it's listening. So it's listening on port number 80, right? Now, as per definition, service should listen and it should respond the request, right? Let us demonstrate it. So we'll say here TCP dump. So TCP dump is not available. The command is actually TCP dump, right? So what to do if it is not available? We'll say yum install TCP dump, right? So it will take few minutes to quickly install the package. Now let's run. We'll say TCP dump port 80. So collect all the data of port 80 and write in the file called as out.txt. All right. Now it's listening and it will write on out.txt. That's fine. Now what we have to do, we know the IP address of our server. Now we have to do some request, right? How we do request? I will bring my browser here, and this is any browser, but our IP should be reachable from this machine. So it's my one of the Windows system. I'm doing the request from here. So I'm saying 10.0.0.3. So this is my HTTPD server where I'm requesting, right? So it's a test page. So we done request and we got a response. Now let's check whether our service responded or not. So we'll see control C and we'll say cat out.txt. So what it says, the pack zero packet captured. So it's not captured any package. Let's again put for capturing the package. Let's again do some request. So just I'm refreshing it and we'll check the console. It's listening and capture sizes. Is that fine? It should capture some data or the information. Okay. Now let's check if we get something inside this. Control C. So zero packet captured. Okay, it's not capturing anything from remote. Let's take a duplicate session and we'll try from local. All right. So e-link is not available, this command. So yum install e-link. So e-links, oh sorry, it's a typo. So e-links is a text-based browser. So it's basically we can browse the site, but it will be the text-based. We cannot get any graphic. So it got installed. Now let's run the command e-links http ://127.0.0.1. That is a local IP address. So for any machine, we have this local IP address. Oh, so we have done here, not set the capturing. Now we have set. Now let's run from this terminal. So we have requested and let's cancel it. Now here it says 91 package received, right? So it's not capturing from the remote, but it's capturing from the local. That's fine. That's fantastic one. Let's run the out.c. Here we can see that all the output, it's not, it's a previous output. So the best way to read the file, we can say less out.txt. You want to run? Yes. See here, we can see that all the pages which has been served by the Apache server in response to user request, right? So that we are easily getting inside the TCP dumped output, right? So in this way, we can see how the service listen and responds to any request. So in Linux operating system, to stop the service, the command is systemctl start and the service name. Let's example httpd. Now to stop, we can say systemctl stop httpd. To start it again, we can start. To check the status, we can say status, right? Now here we can see the disable. This disable is different, so we'll not concentrate on this. We will concentrate on this. This is very important. What it means? It means your service in disable state, but it started. So what is the difference between started and disable? Started means it started and active and running, but disable means it will not auto start. If your server reboot, the service will not automatically going to start. We have to run the systemctl start httpd again. In case if we need this service need to be started automatically, if our server rebooted or started, in that case we need to set in enable mode. So once we set in enabled, we can check here, it's enabled. What command we have given? systemctl enable, and after that the service name, right? So once we hit the command systemctl enable and the service name, the state changed from disabled to enabled. Now, if my server got rebooted, my service will automatically going to start because we have kept in auto start, that is enabled mode, right? So what basically it does, it's write into the script. So at a time of when start script executed, start script take cares of all the service need to be started, which is written in the start script, right? So that we'll discuss later on in depth. Now, let's say example, I want to again disable it for some reason. We can say here systemctl disable and the service name, right? Now, if we check the status, it's active and running, but as of now, it's disabled one. So in this way, we can manage the service, and there are a lot of other commands that we are going to cover in the next session. All right. So this is how the service is managed in the Linux operating system. But what is the process then? The process is any running instance. So anything is running inside your system is called as a process, right? So it can be any script, it can be any job, right? Anything which is running in foreground or background, right? So these two terms, foreground and background, is very important, right? So foreground means which we see here the progress, and we can see that it's running on the terminal, right? The background, we cannot see that, it will run behind this terminal, but they are the same process, or we can set the same set of processes in the background and foreground. So that is our next discussion point that we'll discuss in our next session, right? And what is more important for any service is to check the state of that service, because the state of that service, this is a started, that means running, is very important for any application. Like for example, your any critical application is hosted on the web server, and if your service got stopped or terminated, or anything apart from running, then that website or that application is not accessible. So this service will come very critical for the whole application. So we need to monitor this service, we need to monitor the performance of this service, load of this service, everything we can do that. So that we are going to discuss in our next session. Thank you so much for watching.